Do you really understand what it takes to please a woman? Most men think they do, but the truth is there's a lot more to it than you might imagine. Today, we'll explore 10 secrets that only mature men know about women's pleasure. These secrets are grounded in timeless Stoic wisdom. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might see relationships in a way you never have before. Point 1. The art of patience. Mature men understand that women's pleasure isn't a race, it's a journey. Women need time to feel comfortable, connected, and safe before they can experience true pleasure. Rushing through things doesn't get you anywhere. In fact, it often does the opposite. In Stoicism, patience is a virtue, and it couldn't be more important here. Slow down, enjoy the journey, not just the destination. You wouldn't rush through your favorite TV series, would you? Unless it's a season of Game of Thrones, but even then, you'd want to savor it like a fine wine or a gourmet meal. Imagine a woman is like a delicate flower, slowly unfurling its petals. If you try to force it open too quickly, you'll only end up damaging it. But if you approach with gentle care, allowing it to blossom at its own pace, you'll be rewarded with the full, fragrant splendor of its bloom. That's the essence of patience when it comes to a woman's pleasure. It's like the difference between scarfing down a fast food burger or savoring a multi-course gourmet feast. The former might satisfy your immediate hunger, but the latter nourishes your soul, leaving you feeling truly satisfied. The same principle applies to intimacy. Mature men understand that rushing through the experience is like trying to gulp down a fine wine. You'll miss out on all the subtle nuances and complexities that make it truly exquisite. Point 2. Emotional connection over physical performance. Mature men know that it's not about physical prowess, but the emotional bond you build. Without an emotional connection, the physical act is hollow. Women crave emotional depth. Think of it as foreplay that begins long before you ever touch her, like planning a romantic date night or sharing your deepest fears and dreams. But here's the kicker. Without this connection, even the best physical techniques, like the Kama Sutra's 100 different positions, will fall flat, like a symphony without harmony. Imagine a world-class pianist playing a virtuosic concerto, but the audience is completely disengaged. No matter how technically brilliant the performance, it will feel empty and unsatisfying. That's what it's like for a woman without an emotional connection. She might experience physical pleasure, but it will lack the depth and richness that truly fulfills her. On the other hand, a mature man understands that true intimacy is about creating a sacred space where two souls can commune, where vulnerability and trust are the foundation. It's about weaving a tapestry of shared experiences, dreams, and desires that transcends the purely physical. When a woman feels truly seen, heard, and valued, that's when the magic happens. Point 3. Listening is more powerful than doing. Most men think it's all about their actions, but mature men understand that listening is the real superpower. Listening to her body language, her words, her reactions, this is where true understanding lies. Listening, yes, that thing that most men pretend to do during long phone conversations, when they're actually planning their next golf outing or thinking about what they'll have for dinner, like a distracted teenager. Imagine a skilled negotiator, someone who can read the subtle cues and nuances of their counterpart's body language and tone of voice. They don't just steamroll their way through the conversation, but they actively listen, picking up on the unspoken needs and desires of the other person. That's the kind of listening that mature men bring to their relationships. It's not about waiting for your turn to speak, but truly being present and attuned to your partner's inner world. What is she feeling? What is she longing for? What are her fears and insecurities? By listening deeply, you'll gain a level of understanding that goes far beyond the superficial. You'll be able to anticipate her needs, to respond with empathy and compassion, and to create an environment where she feels truly heard and understood. Point 4. The importance of presence. A man who is fully present, mindful, and focused on the moment is infinitely more attractive than someone who is distracted, constantly checking their phone or thinking about work. Women can sense when you're not truly there, and it's a major turnoff. Stoic wisdom teaches us to be in the now, fully engaged, like a Zen master in deep meditation, acutely aware of every breath and every sensation. Imagine a first date where your partner is constantly glancing at their phone, fidgeting, and seemingly a million miles away. It's a surefire way to kill the mood and leave your date feeling unimportant and unvalued. Now imagine a date where your partner is fully present, making eye contact, listening intently, and engaging with genuine curiosity and attention. The difference is palpable, and it's a reflection of the level of respect and care you're bringing to the interaction. Presence is about being fully immersed in the moment, attuned to the subtle cues and nuances of your partner's experience. It's about putting down your phone, turning off the TV, and creating a sacred space where the two of you can connect, uninterrupted. When a woman feels that you are truly there, with all of your senses and attention focused on her, it can be profoundly intimate and arousing. Point 5. Women's pleasure is multifaceted. First up, mature men know that women's pleasure isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and spiritual. It's like a beautiful symphony where every note matters. The soft caress, the deep gaze, the whispered words of affection. If you focus solely on the physical aspect, like trying to replicate a porn scene, you're missing out on the entire orchestra, like a musician who only plays one instrument in a symphony. Imagine a woman as a complex, multi-layered being, with needs and desires that extend far beyond the purely physical. She craves emotional intimacy, intellectual stimulation, and a sense of spiritual connection. It's not enough to simply focus on the mechanics of lovemaking. You need to engage her whole being to create an experience that resonates on multiple levels. It's like the difference between a one-note melody and a richly layered composition. The former might be catchy, but it will quickly grow monotonous and unsatisfying. The latter, however, will captivate and transport you, with each instrument and harmony adding depth and nuance to the overall experience. The same is true for a woman's pleasure. It's not just about the physical sensations, but the way those sensations intertwine with her emotional, mental, and spiritual needs. Point 6. Communication is key. Mature men understand that communication is vital. It's not just about asking what she wants, it's about creating a safe space where she feels comfortable expressing her desires. Remember, silence can be deafening in a relationship, so ask questions, listen actively, and engage in conversations that matter, like discussing your dreams, fears, and aspirations, or exploring each other's love languages. Imagine a couple trying to navigate the bedroom without ever talking about what they enjoy or what makes them feel good. It's like trying to find your way through a dark maze without a map or a flashlight. You might stumble upon a few pleasurable experiences by chance, but the true potential for intimacy and fulfillment will remain elusive. Now, imagine a couple who have cultivated a deep, open, and honest dialogue about their desires, boundaries, and needs. They're not afraid to be vulnerable, to share their innermost thoughts and feelings. This level of communication creates a foundation of trust and mutual understanding that allows them to explore their sexuality with confidence and creativity. It's not just about asking, "What do you like?" but delving deeper, exploring questions like, "What makes you feel most safe and comfortable?" Or, "What are your fantasies and desires that you've been too afraid to share?" The more you can create a safe, judgment-free space for her to express herself, the more she'll feel empowered to let go and surrender to the experience. Point 7. Respect her boundaries, always. Mature men understand that boundaries are not obstacles but invitations to deeper intimacy. Respecting a woman's boundaries builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any fulfilling connection. If you're thinking, "But boundaries slow things down," yes, just like a seatbelt does. It's there for everyone's safety, to protect you both, like a guardrail on a winding mountain road. Imagine a relationship where your partner's boundaries are constantly being pushed or ignored. It's a recipe for resentment, mistrust, and ultimately, the breakdown of the connection. But when you approach a woman's boundaries with respect and understanding, it shows that you value her autonomy and her comfort above your own immediate desires. It's like the difference between a hike through a lush, verdant forest and a treacherous, uncharted wilderness. The former is a journey of discovery and exploration, where you navigate the path with care and reverence. The latter is a perilous scramble, where you risk getting lost or injured. Respecting a woman's boundaries is like following the marked trails, allowing you to immerse yourself in the beauty of the journey without compromising her safety or your own. Remember, a woman's boundaries are not rigid walls, but rather, they're invitations to deeper intimacy. By honoring them, you create an environment of trust and mutual respect, where she feels safe to let her guard down and explore the full depth of her desires. Point 8. The power of foreplay. Let's not underestimate foreplay. Mature men recognize that foreplay is not just a prelude, it's an essential part of the experience. Take your time, savor every moment, from the gentle caress of her cheek to the passionate kisses that leave her breathless. It builds anticipation and enhances pleasure, like a master chef carefully crafting each course of a multi-course meal, building layers of flavor and texture. Imagine a gourmet meal where the chef rushed through the preparation, skimping on the details and the artistry. The final dish might still be technically edible, but it would lack the depth, complexity, and sheer delight of a meal that's been lovingly crafted from start to finish. The same principle applies to foreplay. It's not just about the physical sensations, but the way those sensations are built up and layered, creating a crescendo of anticipation and desire. Imagine tracing the delicate curve of her neck with your fingertips, watching as goosebumps rise on her skin, or the way her breath catches in her throat when you brush your lips against hers, teasing and tantalizing. These moments of slow, sensual exploration are the building blocks of truly transcendent intimacy. Foreplay is about more than just getting to the main event. It's about savoring the journey, about creating an experience that resonates on a deeper level. By slowing down and immersing yourself in the nuances of touch, taste, and sensation, you'll not only heighten her pleasure, but you'll also deepen your own connection and fulfillment. Point 9. The importance of aftercare. Aftercare is often overlooked but crucial. Mature men know that aftercare can deepen emotional connections and provide comfort after intimacy. It's a way to reaffirm your bond and show her that you care, whether it's cuddling, sharing a warm bath together, or simply holding her close and whispering words of adoration, like a parent comforting a child after a nightmare. Imagine a couple who have just shared a profound, intimate experience but then immediately part ways, leaving each other feeling alone and unsatisfied. It's like a beautiful symphony that ends abruptly, without the final resolution and sense of completion. Aftercare is the emotional and physical coda that brings the experience to a harmonious close. It's about creating a safe, nurturing space where you can both bask in the glow of your connection. It might involve gentle caresses, soothing words, or simply the comforting presence of your embrace. Aftercare is a way to honor the vulnerability and trust that you've both shared, to reaffirm your commitment to each other's well-being and emotional needs. Think of it as the warm embrace after a long, cathartic cry, the way it can provide a sense of comfort, security, and deep, restorative connection. Aftercare is the glue that helps to solidify the bond between you, creating a sense of belonging and mutual care that extends beyond the physical act. Point 10. The power of non-sexual intimacy. Intimacy isn't always about sex. Mature men understand that cuddling, meaningful conversations, and simply being there are just as important. Women crave non-sexual intimacy just as much as, if not more than, the physical side of things. It's about creating a safe, nurturing space where you can both feel seen, heard, and valued, beyond the physical, like a deep forest where the trees and the soil and the sunlight all work together to sustain life. Imagine a relationship where the only time you connect is during sex. It might be physically satisfying, but it would ultimately feel hollow and unsustainable. True intimacy is about so much more than just the physical act. It's about the way you show up for each other, the way you make each other feel seen, heard, and understood. It's about the simple joy of cuddling on the couch, watching a movie together, or sharing a thoughtful conversation over a cup of coffee. These moments of non-sexual intimacy are the glue that holds a relationship together, creating a sense of emotional safety and belonging that transcends the physical. Think of it like the foundation of a house, the sturdy beams and the solid concrete that support the entire structure. Without that foundation, the house would crumble, no matter how beautifully decorated the interior might be. The same is true for a relationship. The non-sexual intimacy is the bedrock upon which everything else is built. When a woman feels truly seen, heard, and valued for who she is, beyond the physical, it can be profoundly nourishing and empowering. It's about creating a space where she can let her guard down, where she can be vulnerable and authentic without fear of judgment or rejection. Now that you know these 10 secrets, imagine applying the same principles to other areas of your life. Curious? Stick around, because in the next video we'll dive into how small, consistent actions can lead to monumental change, like a river carving its way through solid rock over time, or a tiny seed blossoming into a towering tree. Imagine a life where you approach all of your relationships and endeavors with the same level of care, patience, and emotional intelligence that you now bring to your intimate connections. How might that transform your personal and professional life? What new heights of fulfillment and success might you reach? The principles we've explored today aren't just about pleasing a woman. They're about becoming a more connected, emotionally attuned, and deeply fulfilling human being. By cultivating these qualities, you'll not only enrich your romantic relationships, but you'll also deepen your connections with friends, family, and even your own inner self. So, as you move forward, I encourage you to keep these insights close to your heart. Reflect on them, practice them, and watch as they ripple out, transforming every aspect of your life. Because when you understand the true secrets of women's pleasure, you unlock a gateway to a richer, more meaningful existence, one that's built on trust, vulnerability, and the profound joy of deep, abiding connection.